Things pretty cool.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And as New York City, Long Island, and New Jersey are all getting slammed, not too much for us.
This is probably one of those rare instances where, we are quiet and the coast is getting slammed.
Yeah, we're watching them.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. First off, a look at our local Yorkville Battery live radar, where you can see on the fringes of our region. You head down into Otsego County toward maybe Schoharie and Delaware County. You got more of those persistent snow showers. In fact, in the last couple of hours, Lawrence and Springfield down in Otsego County reporting snow, but it's not been a lot. We got a different story as we turn our attention to the coast. Look at how heavy this snow is. Well, a lot of reports here along the coast picking up 11.5 inches, 15 inches, and in some cases even blizzard warnings, which are in effect right now due to not only that, but also the strong winds. And as I'm mentioning this, we have some lightning strikes here heading along the coast of the shores near Rhode Island. So pretty strong system here. Here's a live look at Manhattan. You can see, of course, a very snowy scene out there all across the Manhattan skyline. And here locally, maybe a dusting or coating of snow. Temperature at 24 degrees, but none of that system is expected to affect us today. We're going to be on the cooler side in the 20s with overall dry weather, mostly cloudy skies. We climb into the low 30s. Now, we do have some more snow chances this week. I wouldn't count it to be a lot of snow, but it's enough to at least coat some surfaces and maybe a little bit more in those higher elevations. We'll dive into that snowfall forecast, as well as potentially looking back at some below zero wind chills again in that full forecast. Gary?
Thanks. Governor Hochul has declared a state of emergency with a powerful nor'easter centered on New York City and Long Island. The storm packing winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour and could possibly contain 2 feet of snow. The governor has activated 100 National Guard members to help first responders. Also, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani declaring a state of emergency ahead of the first potential blizzard the city has seen in years. A blizzard warning has been issued for all 5 boroughs, as well as Long Island and all of New Jersey.
When you look at the scale of the storm that's descending in our state, and actually in some parts starting already, this will be something the likes of which we've not seen in years. We can do this. New Yorkers, we're tough, we're resilient, we're hardcore, but don't think that you are stronger than Mother Nature. Okay? Do not try to outsmart Mother Nature.
And New York City Mayor Mamdani also announced a travel ban and a snow day for all students.
We are asking New Yorkers to avoid all non-essential travel. Please, for your safety, stay home, stay inside, and stay off the roads.
Broadway went dark last night as the powerful winter storm moved into the tri-state area. All shows were canceled. And officials are warning of potential whiteout conditions and urging residents to limit travel as restrictions take effect in surrounding areas. In response, the Broadway League announced that all Sunday evening performances with curtain times at 6 p.m. or later were canceled.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now just turning at 5:10, and good Monday morning. Well, what a weekend. What a past few weeks for Olympics. I think this has been just an exciting time period here for our country, seeing, multiple gold medals and some hockey games and gold medals across the board. But nonetheless, we're back to regularly scheduled winter weather and winter events here. And we take a look at downtown Utica right now. 24 degrees, the official temperature. Feels like 17 out. But it is pretty dry. Only a few lingering flurries that are falling south and east of Utica. Roadways are generally clear this morning and should be pretty clear for much of the day today. As we take a look at the radar, you can see some of those snow showers basically on the fringes of central New York, impacting, say, sections of the capital region at the very east. But again, you look to the bigger picture here, and we just got such heavy snowfall along the East Coast, and this is just slamming everywhere right along the I-95 corridor. So for now, again, a lot of this taking place generally outside of our area today, mostly cloudy, highs climbing into the low 30s. Gary?
Eric, thanks. New Jersey is implementing restrictions statewide during this massive nor'easter. Many will be stuck at home under the travel ban, and as a statewide blizzard warning has been issued, the National Weather Service saying up to 2 feet of snow is possible today. Schools are closed, non-essential travel is banned, and emergency declarations span several states.
The entire state of New Jersey, all 21 counties, is under a blizzard warning for the first time in 30 years. This is likely to be the worst storm that we have seen since 1996.
Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and right here in New York have similar warnings in place. And in Pennsylvania, here's a look at Philadelphia as the snow moved in. You can see signs flapping in the wind and the last cars and buses trying to make their way off the roadways. Plows will be hard at work removing all that snow for likely the next 24 to 48 hours. The time right now is 5:12.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Monday, we begin with at least a few flurries, cloudy skies, but for a lot of our area, relatively dry. Yorkville Battery Live Radar, we can see some of that snowfall on the fringes of our region. But again, this has been just a monster of a storm impacting the East Coast here. First time in quite a while I've seen a radar signature like this hitting the Boston area, heading as far through the Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York City. Basically all the I-95 corridor here is getting absolutely slammed with, in some spots, over a foot of snow. I've seen some reports getting as high as 15, 17 inches. Now for us, that might be a couple of time a year winter event here in New York, in upstate New York. But in the New York City area, that's not common. You need a monster of a nor'easter to cause that amount of snow. They don't get the lake effect down there. In fact, as we look at a live view of Manhattan, things are still getting a bit more on the snowier side. We could actually see a bit more of the skyline moments ago, but that has since been engulfed by more snowfall right now. A different scene in downtown Utica. We've got pretty quiet skies out there, cloudy for the most part, but pretty dry. This nor'easter is going to continue to pull its way north and east, exiting the area as we head into the evening and eventually overnight. We have some backside northwesterly winds to be watching, and then by Wednesday, early Wednesday morning, around to some light to moderate snowfall, coating some surfaces with some fresh snow. And then the backside of this cold front rolls through, and there's potentially some higher impact, moderate to heavy, brief rounds of snow heading into Wednesday evening. So we're not on the woods of snowfall just yet. Let's take a look here in the Skycast. So today, again, mostly cloudy. In fact, we might even see a couple of brief peaks of sunshine here. But nonetheless, we're going to see clouds continue through Tuesday, some stray flurries here and there from that northwesterly wind, and same story, maybe a few peaks of sunshine here and there. Light snowfall arrives early Wednesday, enough to coat some surfaces and roads with a light dusting, maybe an inch or two in some higher elevations, so plan accordingly for that Wednesday morning. And then by Wednesday afternoon, a few brief rounds of snow pass through the area, enough to at least cause some reduced visibility. Again, there's still some variability in the amount of snow and the timing, but as we progress throughout the afternoon and throughout the day tomorrow, we'll have much higher accuracy regarding that. And then lastly, but briefly, we've got some wind chills falling below zero again tonight through tomorrow morning. You can see minus -8 to -15 across parts of the area. So tomorrow morning, you might want to grab some of those extra layers as you head out the door to where you need to go. So again, your 7-day, after a cold Tuesday, we're back into the 30s, pushing low 40s by this weekend. And aside from some snowfall Wednesday, it is looking pretty dry for much of the rest of the week. So nothing really major to be tracking right now.
Saturday looks nice, huh?
Yes, look at that.
Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:19. And thank you for joining us for this half hour. It's kind of a 180 today as we up here in upstate New York are looking at up to 2 feet of snow downstate, including in New York City. And Eric, that snow is devastating New York City, right?
Yeah, I mean, for up here, I mean, we get a lot of snow, but I mean, I think we're kind of used to it at this point. I mean, down in New York City, I think the big issue is you got nowhere to put it.
Right.
I think that's the main thing. In fact, you got blizzard warnings all across the eastern coast here along the Atlantic, going, as Gary mentioned, as far south as New Jersey, even into Delaware and Maryland, all the way up to all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, and the eastern portions of Massachusetts, and even the coast of Maine. So all those orange colors you see there are blizzard warnings. And interesting enough, we haven't really seen blizzard warnings recently in our area compared to, say, along the East Coast. But again, impacts down there a lot more than up here. Yorkville Battery Live Radar, we've got a few flurries falling mainly to our east. But again, a lot of this snowfall is taking place outside of central New York. We're going to see little, if any, impact from this as this continues to move its way farther to the north and east. But here's a live look in Manhattan right now. And again, with that snow coming down, it's a bit difficult to see the Manhattan skyline, which was a little more evident about a half hour ago. Nonetheless, here's a look in Cooperstown, where we still have a pretty quiet scene out there. Temperatures in the mid to low 20s and pretty much remaining the 20s to low 30s today with dry weather across the board. Thankfully, no major impacts travel-wise here locally today, but obviously you head farther south toward New York City, a different story. And we do have some more snow chances and some colder weather on the way briefly. We'll dive into that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. The Mexican Army killed a powerful
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to News Channel 2 at sunrise on this Monday morning. Now, before we get to that photo of the day today, I do want to give a huge thank you to everyone who was able to attend the Utica on Film event. It was an encore due to the popularity of the one that we held back in November of last year. And again, I guess a lot of you are very interested in some Utica history and a lot of film and other types of things that we could show that haven't really been seeing the light of day in several years, in fact, several decades. And I hope a lot of you are able to at least enjoy some of the footage that we were able to share. And this might be the first of maybe even future events. Again, a huge shout out to the History Center for allowing the ability for us to be doing this at least a couple of times so far. So to our photo of the day today, this brings us to Marcy, and a great shot here of some, at least a couple of trail hawks here enjoying the snowfall. Of course, they don't appear as puffy as I thought they would be. Usually this time of year, if it's pretty cold out, you got some pretty puffy deer. But nonetheless, an amazing scene here sent in by Michelle. And if you have a photo like this you'd like to send to us, WKTV.com/weather/pics, a place to go. And that photo and every photo brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. More than 40 million people are under blizzard warnings as a blockbuster nor'easter targets the East Coast. Reporter Jen Sullivan is in New York with details on how they're dealing with this monster storm.
An historic winter storm that could dump close to 2 feet of snow across parts of the Northeast is paralyzing travel. The mayor of New York City declaring a state of emergency and issuing a travel ban Sunday until midday Monday.
The state of emergency closes the streets, highways, and bridges of New York City for all traffic.
The city could see 2 feet of snow by Monday evening, with 2 inches falling per hour overnight, creating whiteout conditions.
New York City has not faced a storm of this scale in the last decade.
Blizzard warnings are in effect from Delaware up to New England.
Boston is no stranger to nor'easters, but this is going to be a big one.
This high-impact bomb cyclone could produce wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour, triggering power outages. Areas along the coast could see widespread flooding and snowfall totals closer to 30 inches. Several states have now declared a state of emergency, including parts of New York and all of New Jersey.
The entire state of New Jersey, all 21 counties, is under a blizzard warning for the first time in 30 years.
Even D.C. could see up to 5 inches of snow. House members delaying a vote to Tuesday in the wake of the storm. And many of these areas expected to get slammed Sunday night still have leftover snow on the ground from last month's winter storm that dumped nearly a foot of accumulation in many areas. In New York, I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
The time now, 5:40.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Time now is 5:49 on this Monday morning, and although right now it's pretty quiet locally, a much different story heading down to the Atlantic coast. Take a look at the radar. We are not out of the woods with any snow, just as a heads up. I want to emphasize this morning that there still could be some, at least, energy from this system pushing its way eastward. I just personally think any snow impacts would be little, if any, at all. Now, regardless, this afternoon, this snow exits our area, and we're already in the clear. But for now, at least as you can see here, the snowfall is still maintaining itself south and east of the area. So we zoom out a little bit, and you can see here some heavy snow along the I-95 corridor going from, say, Massachusetts all the way down to New Jersey. And some of these spots here picking up over a foot of snow. This is not common for the Atlantic coast to see that much snowfall. Up here, maybe, but at least not, at least in that zone there. Now, live look at Manhattan, you can see really a very snowy scene out there. The Manhattan skyline is right there, and a bit difficult to see with some of that heavy snowfall rate early today. And looking at a much different scene here in downtown Utica. It's a dry view out there early today. Temperatures hovering in the 20s, and as we progress throughout the morning, we're going to see, again, much of the snowfall pushing its way north and east. You can see some snowfall dislodging its way westward, but it's not a lot. Maybe some nuisance snow showers. Either way, by tonight, we're going to see some minor lake effect set up, and then following that, Wednesday, we're going to fast forward throughout an entire day. We've got some light snow showers early Wednesday morning, followed by around and maybe some heavier brief snow showers from a cold front by Wednesday evening. So let's dive into it here on our Skycast. Today, cloudy skies, a few spotty snow showers, but otherwise a mostly dry day today. Then, by the overnight hours, some lingering lake effect flurries, nuisance snow. Tomorrow, pretty dry, even a few peaks of sunshine before sunset. Overnight lows falling into the negatives briefly, and then as we head into Wednesday morning, we're going to see the arrival of at least some light snowfall, drying up a little bit in the afternoon, and return to more isolated, heavier snowfall by Wednesday evening. And just as a heads up, by tonight through tomorrow morning, we got some pretty cold wind chills to deal with in the negative 10 to minus 15 range. So just budget some, or at least plan accordingly with some at least warmer clothes heading into early Tuesday. Nonetheless, by the middle of the week, we're in the mid-30s with some snow chances again from that clipper. And then after that, it's going to be drying up a little bit as we head into Friday and Saturday. A little warmer, too, pushing the low 40s by Saturday. So we've got some variable temperatures, but warmer than we've seen in weeks past.
Maybe a preview of spring on Saturday.
Hopefully, Gary. Hopefully.
Eric, thanks. Well, in case you missed it over the weekend, the local community has lost an icon. Alice Sr. has passed away. His son, Simeon Jr., made the announcement on Facebook on Sunday. He described his father not only as the founder of the Commercial Drive favorite restaurant, but the soul of it, building it from ground up with faith, determination, and a love for bringing people together. The Post says his family will carry on the tradition he started at the restaurant. Well, some classic footage of Utica was shown.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we've been watching it approach for the past few days. Now it's hitting New York City, Long Island, and plenty of other spots.
Yeah, and a lot of snow too, Gary. Some that they haven't seen in years easily. In fact, we'll take a look right now at the radar, and we'll talk about how things are shaping up for a lot of the Northeast. So let's start out with our local weather. Here's a look at the radar scans. We have some snow showers here and there. These are influenced by the nor'easter. So for basic meteorology lesson here, because the atmosphere kind of acts like a fluid, well, basically is a fluid of air, any type of influence can also act like ripples in the atmosphere. And we can see some of these ripples right here. These could move into our area. They wouldn't be very impactful, but they could drop at least a little bit of snow here and there. We'll closely watch it, but for the time being, we are not going to be seeing the blizzard conditions currently impacting the Atlantic coast. Keep in mind, New York City a couple of years ago had a countdown clock for the last time they saw an inch of snow in Central Park. So keep in mind, only a few years ago, they didn't see any snow at all, and now we're talking over a foot of snow in some spots along that coastal area there. Here's a live view of Manhattan. You can see in the far distance here, if you can, the Manhattan skyline, which is at least engulfed by more snowfall at this hour. You can see some of the streets heading in the east-west direction there. And a different story here in the central New York region, live in Cooperstown, maybe a few snowy roads here and there, but not too bad out there. Temperatures in the 20s with cloudy skies, maybe some nuisance snow showers, but that's really about it. This afternoon, it's cloudy, highs in the low 30s, and it remains pretty quiet for much of the evening and overnight, but it might get cold quick. We'll talk about the wind chills overnight, as well as any future snowfall chances this week in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. And Governor Hochul has declared a state of emergency with a powerful nor'easter centered on New York City and Long Island. The storm packing winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour and up to 2 feet of snow. The governor has activated 100 National Guard members to help first responders. Also, New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani declaring a state of emergency ahead of the first potential blizzard the city has seen in many years. A blizzard warning has been issued for all 5 boroughs, as well as Long Island and all of the state of New Jersey.
When you look at the scale of the storm that's descending in our state, and actually in some parts starting already, this will be something the likes of which we've not seen in years. We can do this. You know, New Yorkers, yeah, we're tough, we're resilient, we're hardcore, but don't think that you are stronger than Mother Nature. Okay? Do not try to outsmart Mother Nature.
And Mayor Mamdani also announced a travel ban and a snow day for all students.
We are asking New Yorkers to avoid all non-essential travel. Please, for your safety, stay home, stay inside, and stay off the roads.
Officials are warning of potential whiteout conditions and urging residents to limit travel as restrictions take effect in surrounding areas. And right there, Broadway announced that all Sunday evening performances with curtain times at 6 p.m. were canceled due to the travel impacts and safety concerns. Well, Florida law enforcement shot and killed an armed man.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Monday morning. Hope you all had a great weekend, quite an action-packed weekend of Olympic events, and I feel like this Olympic event was quite nothing like we've seen in quite a while. Just everything, storylines, you name it, a lot of golds won. What a great games the last couple of weeks. Now, as we turn the page to the week ahead this week, we've got conditions favoring average temperatures, at least for the next 5 or so days. Slightly warmer, slightly cooler each day, but nonetheless, here locally, we're at 24 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. Feels like 24 with calm winds out there early today. Roadways generally clear. You might have some snow-covered surfaces the farther south and east you go, down into Otsego and potentially down into Delaware and Sullivan counties, where some of that snowfall has been pushing through, at least the outskirts of the nor'easter. Now you can see here, we got some very minor influence. It's currently hitting the Hudson Valley and the Capital Region right now. But either way, the blizzard conditions are staying well south and east of us, hitting pretty much all of the Atlantic coast. So today, maybe some nuisance snow showers. That's really about it. Highs in the upper 20s, low 30s. We have a look at some colder weather tonight. Maybe some snow chances the next few days. We'll dive into that in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. New Jersey is implementing restrictions statewide during this massive nor'easter. Many will be stuck at home under travel bans as a statewide blizzard warning has been issued. The National Weather Service saying up to 2 feet of snow is possible into today. Schools are closed, non-essential travel is banned, and emergency declarations span several states.
The entire state of New Jersey, the entire state of New Jersey, all 21 counties, is under a blizzard warning for the first time in 30 years. This is likely to be the worst storm that we have seen since 1996.
Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and right here in New York have similar warnings in place. And in Pennsylvania, here's a look at Philadelphia as the snow moved in last night. You can see signs flapping in the wind, and the last cars and buses were trying to make their way off the roadways. And plows will be hard at work removing all of that snow for likely the next 24 to 48 hours. The time right now is 6:13. Here's a live look at
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Monday, we've got a lot to talk about today. I mean, well, at least not locally, but making headlines, national headlines, for obvious reasons. One of the most populated areas in the U.S. getting slammed with intense snowfall, dropping a foot of snow in a lot of these spots here. Now, to us, that's not really a whole lot, is it? I mean, we get a foot of snow here every month or so. But either way, down south, it's obviously higher impacts. For one, it's a lot more urban. They're not used to it. And of course, for other reasons too, there's not really anywhere to put it, especially go to some major urban centers. Either way, here's a look at the latest trend of the nor'easter. The backside bands are starting to move their way through New York City right now. We do have some minor influence here locally, but if anything, it's not going to produce a whole lot of snowfall. But either way, right now our next focus is going to be mainly heading into the Boston, Eastern Mass, and Rhode Island areas right now. But nonetheless, a lot of spots here picking up over a foot of snow. And a live look at Manhattan, you can see here still a pretty busy scene here of intense snowfall. You can barely even see the skyline with Central Park right over there, and you can't even see the buildings surrounding it. But downtown Utica, a different story. It's pretty quiet out there early this morning. Traffic getting a bit busy for that morning rush hour, and you're really not going to expect a whole lot in terms of impacts for that morning rush hour today. Maybe if you're heading toward the Capital Region, that's where there could be some more influence, but again, not a lot. Maybe Otsego, Delaware, Sullivan counties might see some more nuisance snowfall, but that's really about it. Then it looks pretty quiet, aside from some stubborn light lake effect until Wednesday morning. A round of some light snow rolls through, and that'll set the stage for a round of some moderate to heavy snowfall as that backside cold front arrives Wednesday evening. That's our next shot for at least measurable snowfall locally. So today, you can see here some minor influence here from the nor'easter, but that's really about it. It does dry up. We're going to see maybe some partial clearing before sunset tonight and a few spotty flurries. Now tomorrow, it's going to be cloudy. It's going to be a very cold start. I'll show the feels like temperatures in a second. And highs will climb into the teens. It's going to be a cold Tuesday and a snowy early morning Wednesday. Light snowfall across the area, enough to coat some roadways, so just plan accordingly for at least maybe budgeting some extra time for your Wednesday morning commute. And then by Wednesday afternoon, it's going to be pretty dry, aside from some higher elevations north, and then a round of some moderate to heavy snowfall as the backside of that cold front pushes through in the evening hours. Something to watch here, too, for Wednesday. And again, as I mentioned, it's going to be very cold tonight through early tomorrow. We're talking wind chills in the negative 10 to 15 degree mark. So just grab those extra layers getting out to the door tomorrow morning. Your 7-day forecast after a cold start tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, it's basically just kind of trending back to average. We have a cold day and then we're back to 30s Wednesday through Friday, pushing 41 on Saturday. So maybe some warm up, some cool downs, but overall it's looking to be nothing like what we saw at least earlier in the month, and especially in January.
Yeah, something to smile about on Saturday. Looks pretty nice.
And some sunshine too.
Yeah, Eric, thanks. In case you missed it over the weekend, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. It's kind of a 180 today as we up here in upstate New York are looking at up to 2 feet downstate, including New York City. And Eric, I know we saw that shot earlier, a live shot of New York City. It is blanketed with snow right now.
Yeah, that's right. And those blizzard warnings extending to as far north as Maine. This is going all up the Atlantic coast. Let's take a look right now at those blizzard warnings and, of course, that live view of New York City here in a second. So, again, the orange colors you see here are blizzard warnings. And we haven't really seen a whole lot here locally in years past. But you notice here they go all the way up from, say, Delaware to New Jersey, New York City, basically anywhere downstate, heading up toward Connecticut, Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts, and eventually up toward Maine there. And we'll look here at the snowfall, which right now locally is producing maybe some stray snow showers heading out, say, toward Delaware, Sullivan, Montgomery, even sections of Herkimer County here. Not a lot of snow. And I do want to clarify, we're not out of the woods with snow from this event, but at least we're not going to see the brunt of it, which are in the blizzard warnings here. And just look at the dark blues. That is intense snowfall, and it is slamming the I-95 corridor right now. Here's a live look from the camera here facing Manhattan. Now, if those of you that tuned in the early 5 o'clock hour, you actually saw the Manhattan skyline. You can't see it. This is where Manhattan is in the background. So we got some pretty heavy snowfall down there right now. Now, live look in Cooperstown, a different story. You've got maybe a few stray flurries, but other than that, it's a pretty quiet morning down here in the southern valleys, and temperatures hovering in the 20s to start your day today. Now, the next 12 hours, we climb into the upper 20s, low 30s, maybe a few stray snow showers, but other than that, today is looking pretty quiet. We have some cold weather tonight and a better shot for us to see some snowfall locally coming up. We'll talk about when that'll be arriving and how much we could see in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. The Mexican Army killed a powerful drug cartel leader, triggering unrest across western Mexico.
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Beautiful scene in Cooperstown there. Happy Monday, everybody. Before we get to our photo of the day, I do want to give a shout out to a lot of the folks that were able to come to my event this past weekend at the United County History Center, something that we were planning with the History Center at least over the last year or so. We did at least a first presentation back last November, but because of the public support, we figured why not do it again for a part two, and still an amazing turnout, and I hope a lot of you that were able to show up were able to enjoy a lot of the old films dating back to even the early 20th century, showing the old trolley system, folks getting off the trains of World War I, as well as a lot of local landmarks here across the area that's shaped Utica to what it is. And there could be some future events planned, so stay tuned for any updates. Now, our photo of the day today brings us to the town of Marcy, and a great shot here of two local Marcy residents enjoying the snowfall here. This is sent in by Michelle, and if you have a great photo like this with the Mother Nature's beauty in the background, WKTV.com/weather/pics is a place you can go to submit your own photo. Shout out to those of you watching from Marcy this morning. And again, this photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Nice shot from Michelle right there.
Yes, beautiful shot.
Beautiful. NBC has some post-Olympics premieres lined up.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today, on this Monday, we are tracking some snowfall, mainly slamming the East Coast, but here locally, maybe a few flurries. Here's a live look right now at a Yorkville Battery live radar where, yes, there are some snowfall activity, mainly down in Sullivan County and Delaware County, and a few stray flurries making their way here, to Herkimer County and Montgomery County. But I want to zoom out a little bit because, again, the brunt of this system is just slamming the East Coast right now, the Atlantic coast, I should say, dropping a foot of snow in some spots. In fact, nearly a foot or over a foot in New York City. And keep in mind, only about a short time ago, they were having a countdown clock on the amount, or at least the last time New York City saw, or at least Central Park in Manhattan saw over an inch of snow. And now, well, they've already at least reached over a foot in some spots, so record broken, obviously. But either way, there's a live view of Manhattan out in the distance. You can barely see the city skyline there. A different story here in Utica, where it's a pretty quiet, cloudy skies. It's really about it to start your day today. Stray flurries might be in the forecast for the morning, but really impacts non-existent. That snowfall, at least the brunt of it, this low pressure shifts its way north and east. We have maybe a few stray lake effect snow bands moving through the area Tuesday, but our next weather maker arrives Wednesday, at least Wednesday morning, with the arrival of widespread light snow, and then brief rounds of moderate to heavy snow as a cold front whips through the area heading into Wednesday. So let's dive into the skycast here. We begin with today, which will see temperatures in the 20s, maybe pushing low 30s. Tonight, we're going to see the skies clear a little bit before returning to maybe a few flurries. Temperatures falling into the single digits, wind chills even colder than that. And then following that, your Tuesday, cloudy, maybe a few stray flurries here and there. Temperatures peaking only in the teens, so we have a pretty cold day tomorrow. Then Wednesday, early morning, widespread light snow, enough to coat some surfaces and roads early in the morning, so just plan accordingly for your morning commute Wednesday. We do dry up a little bit in the afternoon, but then by the evening, we've got a few snow bands we're tracking that could cause some travel impacts. So we'll provide you with some updates on this. Stay tuned for updates on the timing, amounts, and impacts as we head into Wednesday evening. And again, as a reminder, tonight through tomorrow morning, wind chills in the negatives, -10 to -15 across the area. So grab those extra layers heading out the door for your Tuesday morning commute. 7-day forecast, we've got some 30s on tap for Wednesday and Thursday, climbing to near 41 degrees on Saturday, as an overall trend points to some more average to slightly above average temperatures to wrap up the week. We'll be right back.
News with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Blizzard warnings covering more than 40 million people are in place as a massive winter storm hits the Northeast. Schools are closed, travel bans are in place, and in many places, including New York City. NBC's Emily Ikeda starts us off.
Well, this is anticipated to be one of the top 10 worst snowstorms in New York City history as I trudge through what is officially 15-plus inches of snow here in Central Park and counting. And certainly while it is a beautiful scene in this park, it is dangerous out on the roadways, and that is why New York City officials are issuing a rare travel ban to keep people off the roads, to allow those snow plows and emergency vehicles to continue to do their work. That is through noon today. At times, we saw snowfall rates in parts of the Northeast 2 to even 3+ inches an hour. That, coupled with the really strong winds, which have also those gusts exceeding 80 miles an hour, have proven cause for concern, and is why so many officials across the region are urging people to stay home. But I walked over here because I think this is a really telling scene of exactly the intensity of this storm. You look here, you can see just how much snow has piled up. This is a snow bench, believe it or not. I'm also going to walk over here to show you just the weight of the snow. We're talking about a wet, heavy snow, and you can see how it's weighing down on these branches. That proves problematic for power outages because the branches snap onto power lines. It's why hundreds of thousands of people are without power from Virginia to Massachusetts, and some energy providers say it could take days to restore as the snow continues to fall here in New York. I'll send it back to you.
NBC's Emily Cada reporting in New York. Meanwhile, the winter storm has shut down Capitol Hill. The House and the Senate have postponed votes that were scheduled for today because of the storm. Those votes will now take place tomorrow. Federal agencies remain open but are operating under a 2-hour delay. The Department of Homeland Security remains shut down. And meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, it's about time we're not seeing it. Somebody else is, right?
I know, right? I think that was the interesting part of this, is that now it's slamming the East Coast, which has been pretty much spared.
Yeah.
We take a look at right now where that nor'easter is put, and it is slamming right now the shores of New England, Boston, at least the south shores there, near Cape Cod, getting absolutely walloped with snow. A lot of reports, 1, 2, some places 2 to 3 feet in that range as well, heading into Long Island, heading down to, as we just saw there, Jersey Shore. And it's not done yet. At least it's pulling its way out to sea slowly but surely, but it's still making its impacts along the Atlantic. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Live Radar. It is making some minor influences here. There's a very narrow mesoscale band forming up basically right along the Route 8 corridor, heading down into the New Berlin, Mohawk, the Unadilla Valley locations down here, eventually heading south towards Sydney. Something we're watching, but it's not very, at least if it is strong, it's not happening for a long duration. Here's a live look at Manhattan right now. You can see, of course, the snow is falling at a good clip. Live look in Cooperstown. Flurries are falling moments ago, but still overall it's been a snowy afternoon, especially heading down south and east of us. Temperatures hovering right around the 30-degree mark, and for the rest of the day today we hover again in the low 30s before cooling back down into the teens, eventually single digits tonight, with wind chills possibly falling below zero. We'll track that, plus a better shot for accumulating snow locally coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Federal agents shot and killed a man outside President Trump's.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. We continue to track that monster nor'easter slamming the East Coast, and while we do see some minor impacts from it, I mean, we've got so much less to deal with from this compared to, say, snow events in the past. You can see a lot of those orange polygons, the rare orange polygons that we don't usually see in wintertime unless things really mean business. And we're talking 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts in some of these spots here in New England. So we're talking strong winds and heavy snow. It is a mess of snow showers out to our east. In the meantime, again, we're getting spared by a whole lot. We do have some minor impacts here, a very narrow mesoscale band we're tracking, but you can see the brunt of the winds and the snowfall staying well out to our east as this low pressure slowly moves up the coast. And as we progress throughout the afternoon, you can see here once it ends, we've got maybe some lingering flurries heading into the overnight hours. Now, as we head throughout Tuesday, clouds breezy conditions, maybe some nuisance snow showers as well. We have a round of light snow arriving early Wednesday, enough to coat some surfaces, followed by another frontal boundary moving through as we head into Wednesday afternoon. That's going to provide us with a chance of at least widespread brief, but potentially moderate to heavy snowfall across a lot of the state itself. Then following that, we're going to be tracking maybe some minor lake effect response as well. So let's zoom in here. So on our Skycast today, generally cloudy. We have some partial clearing. Some of you tuning in right now might even see some sunshine out your window. One of the joys of unique circumstances like this with a powerful system to our east. Now, by this evening, we're going to start to see those temperatures cool down. We have a north wind at play here. That's one of the effects from having a strong system off the coast. It is forcing all that wind to come in from the north. So we're going to cool down tonight into the single digits, overnight lows, at least the wind chills down into the negative double digits. And I'll show those wind chills here in a second. But either way, Tuesday, it's a cold one, a blustery one. The wind chills remaining pretty cold all day long. Then, as we head into the overnight, Wednesday, early morning hours, we're talking 3 a.m., widespread light snowfall. And because this happens at nighttime, enough to coat some roadways across the area. So just budget some extra time getting to where you need to go Wednesday morning. It's not a lot, but again, it's a typical snowfall here for February. Then in the afternoon, we're tracking a cold front that could provide us with a round of maybe some heavier snow showers. Something we're watching here. We're going to wait for the more high resolution, or better yet, more accurate model data to come in over the next 24 hours, have a better idea of how this shapes up as we head into Wednesday. So stay tuned for updates on that. And then finally, again, I mentioned those wind chills. It's going to cool down pretty quickly tonight in the negative 10 to minus 15 range. Very cold overnight and early tomorrow morning, so grab those extra layers. However, you might not need it all week long. In fact, we do warm up rather quickly. We're already into the mid-30s Wednesday, which might cut down on accumulation for those snow showers Wednesday. And then as we head toward the end of the week, we're in the low 30s. Eventually pushing the 40-degree mark on Saturday. So we have maybe some sunshine toward the end of the week, something to look forward to. But again, Gary, my goodness, what a blizzard the East Coast is seeing right now.
Yeah, and usually we're getting it. So
yeah, finally we'll pass it to someone else.
We get to watch.
Yes.
Eric, thanks. And those blizzard conditions are in many states. Good afternoon once again. I know many states are being hit with blizzard-like conditions, but you have some statistics for us, right?
Yeah, that's right. So all the counties in orange are blizzard warnings, and it got me thinking this morning, when was the last time we saw blizzard warnings? And we got to go back a little bit. We'll take a look right here at our official measurement, which goes to, if I get my remote to work here. Of course, my remote has been working all morning. Let's see here if it's going to work. Nope, my remote died. Let me try a different remote here. There we go. 7 years since we had our last blizzard warning here in central New York. It was issued, actually, almost 7 years. It was almost 7 years ago on February 25th of 2019 with that major lake effect event. Those you remember that happening toward the end of February, back before 2020 here. So we did have a very strong, verified storm system set up there with some strong winds and, of course, heavy snowfall, which is the criteria for blizzard warning. So again, that's all blanketing the East Coast, and we haven't seen things like that in a while. Still, Boston, or at least the South Boston area heading down toward Cape Cod, getting slammed with snow. You've got the influence of the Atlantic that's helping out, producing insane amounts of accumulation over there. Now, we do have a very narrow mesoscale band we're tracking. That's slowly shifting its way south. There might be at least a brief round of snowfall there, but not a whole lot. Nonetheless, still taking a live look at Manhattan, where the snow is still falling and definitely hitting the over-foot mark in a lot of spots. Some spots 2, maybe even close to 3 feet. Live look in Cooperstown, maybe a few flurries, but thankfully not that bad out there early today. Temperatures are hovering in the low 30s, about as warm as we get today. We cool back down into the teens tonight, eventually single digits with overnight wind chills bottoming out below 0. We'll track those wind chills plus the latest snow trends for this week in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And check this out right here. A state DOT plow truck overturned Down on Long Island overnight due to the blizzard slamming the East Coast, Bayshore firefighters, rescue crews, and multiple agencies responded to the crash. The hazmat team spent several hours cleaning up a diesel spill, while the Department of Environmental Conservation monitored for waterway hazards. Some spots in Long Island have already reported well over 2 feet of snow from this storm. The NTSB is investigating.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Time just switching to 12:45, and we begin right now with a look at the radar. So far, things pretty quiet. There's a very narrow mesoscale band taking place right now, pretty much parallel to the Unadilla Valley, right in the intersection of Otsego and Shenango counties here, dropping a little bit of snow in the Mohawk Valley, a little bit down here, but of course as it heads farther south, it's intensifying. It's going to continue to weaken as we head into the next few hours, of course, being that low pressure is going to slowly shift out to sea. But nonetheless, it's something we're watching here. Now, let's look at how things shape up. So there's that low pressure, that coastal low that's going to move up the Atlantic. It's going to shift out to sea. In the meantime, behind us, we've got this cold front working through. It's a weak one. It's enough to at least cool things down a little bit, produce some lake effect, minor lake effect, dare I say. And then as we head throughout Tuesday, it's going to quiet down. Widespread light snowfall Wednesday morning. Nothing major, but it's definitely going to be coating some surfaces as you head out the door early in the Wednesday morning hours. So plan accordingly to budget some extra time getting to where you need to go. Now, Wednesday afternoon, a trailing cold front's going to roll through. There's still some uncertainties. It's very disorganized. Notice here, not a whole lot of organization with these snow bands. So we'll closely track that, and we'll provide updates on potential impacts for Wednesday as you get more consistent data. But let's dive into what we know so far, at least the next few days. So again, today, very narrow bands of influence from that nor'easter, but nothing major here locally. That shifts out to sea, and then it's pretty dry. Peaks of sunshine. In fact, some of you actually seeing peaks of sunshine right now. One of the joys of a very powerful storm out to the east. Now, a secondary effect from this powerful storm is that it's going to drag in some north winds at a very strong rate. Some stronger winds and temperatures falling down into the single digits. Wind chills even colder than that. I'll show those in a second. Tuesday evening, we have some more opportunity for some sunshine mixed in with clouds. And then Tuesday night, maybe a brief cold spell before back into the teens by Wednesday morning. Here's that widespread light snowfall. Maybe a nice, beautiful scene of wintry snow across the area. It's going to warm up quick Wednesday afternoon, climbing into the low 30s. Maybe a bit of a wintry mix, melting taking place. Nonetheless, that snowfall we're going to see in the morning is likely going to be melting. But then we're going to see a round of some snow arrive in the afternoon and the evening. We'll closely watch the impacts of that, because following that, we're going to cool back down again into the 20s with some lingering lake effect overnight. So lastly, temperatures, as I mentioned here, by 6 p.m., wind chills are down into the teens. Overnight, into the single digits, eventually below zero, looking at -10 to -15 wind chill. So just plan accordingly tomorrow. Dress with some warmer layers, getting to where needed to go early Tuesday morning. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we have some at least snow chances, a little warmer in the mid-30s, warming up to the 40s by Saturday. So yes, it's a cold spell. It's not lasting long, and then we're back to some maybe above-average temperatures by the end of the week.
Can't wait for Saturday now.
Yeah, if you get some sunshine, if that low pressure tracking stays south, it'll be a beautiful day.
Beautiful. Eric, thanks. Well, stay with us. Up next, a look.
Full snowstorm that slammed the Northeast with near hurricane-force winds. Gusts are knocking out power and creating whiteout conditions. It's the biggest snowstorm on record for Providence, Rhode Island. Blizzard travel bans remain in effect as 5 states have over 2 feet of snow now. Michael Yoshida is in Boston with the latest developments.
State and local leaders across the Northeast are telling communities the danger from this severe snowstorm is not over.
Bottom line, stay off the roads. We're going to have to be patient. This is going to continue, it looks like, for a little while longer.
Monday, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey issued a travel ban of non-essential vehicles for several counties in the southeastern part of the state.
We needed to do this because this is a particularly hard-hit area. We need to have the ability for all essential vehicle travel to be able to go through. We also have reports of abandoned trucks and cars, stuck vehicles on roads around Massachusetts. Again, this is a reason we just don't want you out there, because it creates burden on our first responders.
It's the biggest winter storm in years for cities like Philadelphia and New York. Monday afternoon, New York's mayor pleaded with people to stay safe.
This snow is exceptionally wet and heavy. Your health comes first.
The system also dumped record-breaking snow in Rhode Island.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
Extreme winds combined with the heavy wet snow have caused electrical outages across the region. Crews are working around the clock to restore power to every home. In Boston, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Region 2 of the New York State DOT has sent a total of 27 staff members to help. That includes 20 operators, 4 trainers, and 3 supervisors. They're deployed in the Hudson Valley and Long Island regions. This is a picture from Trainer Lou from the Utica crew, helping to make sure Long Island workers are trained and ready for the next weather event. In addition to manpower, the DOT in Utica also sent a snowblower.
Charity starts at home, right? So we make sure that we are fully staffed here and that we can handle whatever weather is forecasted for Region 2 before we commit to any deployments to another area. So usually what will happen is the storm happens in Buffalo, for instance, but by the time it gets to Region 2, it's not going to be so bad. We can deploy. If it's already been through Buffalo, they can deploy to us, and so forth. So we move around the state with operations crews and make sure that the traveling public is safe throughout the state.
Just one piece of equipment was sent. There are enough trucks downstate. They just need the manpower. Time now for our first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. We're crunching some of the numbers. These are amazing.
Yeah, historic is, I don't even know if that's the right word. I mean, it's like super historic. Because, for example, Providence, Rhode Island, their previous largest winter storm on record was only 28.6 inches, which is a lot of snow. Today they had almost 10 inches of snow on top of that. 37.9 inches. So records have been obliterated in portions of the Northeast from this. This was a big storm. It definitely lived up to the hype, and it, as expected, didn't affect our weather. We will see some of the effects with this storm as it departs. It's going to usher in some cold weather, and we have been seeing the very, very outskirts of the effects of the wind with it, too. It's a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. A couple of flurries from lake effect snow starting to show up to our south and west. We will see a few flurries from that heading into tomorrow. 25 degrees, a northwest wind at 14 miles an hour is making it feel like 13. The wind chill is going to be very cold to early tomorrow morning, between about 10 to 15 below zero in the morning. Heading into the afternoon, a cold day. Snow looks to return tomorrow night. The warm weather, or at least the less cold weather, starts to arrive here for the middle of the week. Mostly cloudy tonight, 9 degrees. Again, the winds are going to be picking up tonight, and a very cold start to our Tuesday. I've got to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. A West Utica neighborhood considered by many to be forgotten.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. The weather tonight looking pretty quiet. We are tracking a couple of very light snow showers that are developing to the south and west. There is some lake effect snow that's going to be taking place overnight. It's going to be incredibly light. Just a very, very light dusting is expected overnight into tomorrow morning. We're continuing to keep an eye on this nor'easter. It continues to move out to sea. And boy, it was a big one. The last bands of snow are continuing to bring accumulation to Cape Cod. The winds will be gradually diminishing as this storm heads away. But we still have a wind to deal with as we head into tonight. Winds gusts between about 15 to 20 miles an hour. That is going to make for a very cold wind chill first thing in the morning. The winds will be around throughout the afternoon, and then they will gradually decrease. The wind chill gets as low as 10 to 15 below zero overnight. So these are the temperatures you want to dress for in the morning. This is one of the reasons why we keep pushing wind chill. It's what the human body feels when exposed skin feels some of that wind, and your body will cool off at a faster rate, and frostbite will happen sooner in these conditions. So this is what you want to dress for. If you're dressed in layers, you won't feel as much wind chill. You'll feel the air temperature, which is still very cold. It'll be in the single digits. The air temperature does rise. We'll climb into the teens heading into tomorrow afternoon. That's about it. Weather does look warmer on Wednesday. Season snowfall for the city of Utica, 108.1 inches to date. We are running 33 inches above average. We have not set any records with season snowfall yet. In fact, this ranks number 23 on a list of 109 years that we've been measuring snowfall in Utica. So it's up there, but it's not anywhere close to the top 10, at least not yet. Of course, we've got rest of February and March to go. So you look at the bigger picture, again, this nor'easter is moving out to sea. So what's going to be moving in? The next weather system that brings us snow will be a clipper, and that arrives on Wednesday. And at this point, it looks like an inch or two of snowfall between tomorrow night and into Wednesday, with the lower elevations getting a little bit less, a trace 2 inches. We are pretty quiet tonight. Again, a couple of flurries out there from Lake Ontario. Again, very little accumulation is expected tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the teens. A cold afternoon is expected. The weather remains cloudy tomorrow night. Snow breaks out late tomorrow night, and that snow will be with us on and off throughout Wednesday with warmer temperatures, highs in the 30s. Mostly cloudy tonight, down to 9. A cold Tuesday, 17 for the high. It's going to feel colder than 17. It's going to feel like single digits most of the day with that wind and the lack of sunshine. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast, light snow Wednesday, 35. So we bounce back pretty quickly. And for those of you that are itching for some warmth, Saturday might be kind of a tease, a spring tease. We're going to be in the 40s, which will feel nice. A little bit of sunshine too, some melting snow, but then it gets cold again.
Hey, enjoy what you got. That's
exactly.
what we say.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Bill. Saturday Night Live star Marcelo Hernandez is coming to Turning Stone. His comedy show isn't until May 22nd. Something to look forward to. Millions are trying to dig out from that powerful snowstorm that slammed the Northeast with near hurricane force wind gusts, knocking out power and creating whiteout conditions. It's the biggest snowstorm on record for Providence, Rhode Island. Blizzard travel bans remain in effect as 5 states have over 2 feet of snow. Michael Yoshida is in Boston with the latest developments.
State and local leaders across the Northeast are telling communities the danger from this severe snowstorm is not over.
Bottom line, stay off the roads. We're going to have to be patient. This is going to continue, it looks like, for a little while longer.
Monday, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey issued a travel ban of non-essential vehicles for several counties in the southeastern part of the state.
We needed to do this because this is a particularly hard-hit area. We need to have the ability for all essential vehicle travel to be able to go through. We also have reports of abandoned trucks and cars, stuck vehicles on roads around Massachusetts. Again, this is a reason we just don't want you out there, because it creates burden on our first responders.
It's the biggest winter storm in years for cities like Philadelphia and New York. Monday afternoon, New York's mayor pleaded with people to stay safe.
This snow is exceptionally wet and heavy. Your health comes first.
The system also dumped record-breaking snow in Rhode Island.
The blizzard of 26 has now officially surpassed the blizzard of 78 for the most snow ever recorded in a single snowstorm in our Rhode Island state history.
Extreme winds combined with the heavy wet snow have caused electrical outages across the region. Crews are working around the clock to restore power to every home. In Boston, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Now, Region 2 of the New York State DOT is our region. And they've sent a total of 27 staff members to help out. That includes 20 operators, 4 trainers, and 3 supervisors. They are deployed in the Hudson Valley and Long Island regions. This is a picture from Trainer Lou from the Utica crew, helping to make sure Long Island workers are ready and trained for this event. In addition to manpower, the DOT in Utica also sent a big old snowblower.
Charity starts at home, right? So we make sure that we are fully staffed here and that we can handle whatever weather is forecasted for Region 2 before we commit to any deployments to another area. So usually what will happen is the storm happens in Buffalo, for instance, but by the time it gets to Region 2, it's not going to be so bad. We can deploy. If it's already been through Buffalo, they can deploy to us, and so forth. So we move around the state with operations crews and make sure that the traveling public is safe throughout the state.
Just one piece of equipment was sent. There are enough trucks down there. They just needed the manpower. Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Just to put some of these numbers in perspective, you heard the governor from Rhode Island say that this is surpassing 78.
Yeah.
It blew it away.
It obliterated it. Yeah, the blizzard of 78 produced 28.6 inches of snow in Providence, Rhode Island. Today, the storm, a total of 37.9 inches. So it's almost 10 inches more than now the runner-up, which is incredible. That's absolutely incredible. And here's some of the larger snowfall totals, some of the largest ones per state. Islip, New York, that's on Long Island, 31 inches. Again,
that's a lot for them.
This is a lot for anybody. Even here in central New York, these are big numbers. And you got to remember, too, that this isn't lake effect. This snow is heavy and compact, and it's not going to turn it, it's not going to go into half like lake effect snow does with all the fluffiness to it. This stuff is going to be sticking around. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. A couple of flurries out there. We're going to be tracking some lake effect snow tonight and tomorrow as colder air works in. In fact, while we missed out on the big snow, we will see some of the after effects of this storm in terms of the cold and the wind. We have that northwest wind out there now. Current temperature 24. It feels like 12. We've got colder weather in store for tomorrow. Wind chills will be below 0 first thing in the morning, and it looks like our next chance of snow will be tomorrow night and into Wednesday. Mostly cloudy tonight. We're down to 9, but it's going to feel a lot colder than that with the wind. We are tracking a very cold Tuesday. Look at the forecast coming up. James, back to you.
Bill, thank you. A West Utica neighborhood considered by some to be forgotten.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look at downtown Utica. It's been a pretty quiet day with this big nor'easter to our east. We really haven't seen much weather with it. We've been getting some wind. Well, we're going to be getting some cold weather as this storm departs. We do see some of the after effects of it. In fact, it's cold enough where it's generating some lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario. We're getting some bands that are showing up in Shenango County, Madison County. This snow is going to be very, very light, and it will linger into tomorrow morning. Again, the big storm itself now pulling out to sea, still producing some snow along Cape Cod, although the very tip of Cape Cod, it's just about done, at least for the United States. As we look at the forecast wind gusts, as the storm departs, the winds will still be around tomorrow. As the pressure gradient tightens across the northeast, we'll see west winds at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. It's not strong, but it's persistent. And that combination of wind and cold temperature is going to lead to some very cold wind chills. In fact, tomorrow morning, wind chills will be about 5 to 10 below 0 in the morning. This is what you want to dress for. You know, we talk about wind chill. A lot of kids heading off to school dress for these temperatures, and it won't be as impactful. The wind chill will become a lot less as we head into Wednesday. The temperatures will warm up, but Tuesday it's going to stay pretty cold. Wind chills will be close to 0. Quick check of the snowfall stats for the city of Utica. 108.1 inches. We are running 33 inches above average. I looked at some of the records today, and if no snow fell for the rest of the season, we would rank number 23 out of 109. So we're up there. Season's not done yet. We're obviously going to get more snow at some point as we have the rest of February and March, and sometimes April. And we'll continue to keep tallies on this throughout the next several weeks. Bigger picture shows, again, this storm departing. In its wake, we have a clipper that will be arriving tomorrow night into Wednesday. This could produce an inch or two of snowfall, as much as 2 to 4 inches of snow in the higher elevations, and a trace to 2 inches of snow in the Mohawk Valley. Tonight, cloudy skies, again, some flurries expected and some light snow showers tomorrow. This is not expected to cause accumulation or anything significant. Temperatures will be in the teens. Tomorrow night, the weather looks mostly cloudy. Snow arrives on tomorrow night into early Wednesday. The snow will be on and off throughout the day, again, producing an inch or two of accumulation throughout the whole day. Temperatures climb into the 30s. So it does warm up pretty quickly here once we get through tomorrow. Down to 9 degrees tonight. Again, the wind chill tomorrow morning, sub-0, high of 17. That is going to feel like a very cold 17. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Light snow Wednesday, 35. That will feel quite different. Temperatures will be in the 30s for the rest of the week. 44 bust out the shorts on Saturday.
Go for a run.
Go for a run, melting snow, but don't get too used to it.
Yeah, because then the next day we're right back to slap you right in the face.
Yeah, it's going to get cold again.
Going to be in the cold. All right, thank you, Bill. Saturday Night Live.